But no, Beth York goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she's unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marvels. Kayla versus Allison and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory. Hello everybody and welcome back to more CVRcade World Cup Racing. My name is Jesper Anker and as always I'll be guiding you through all the action. We're coming up to the end of week 7 here in the CVRcade World Cup, the bracketed session. Today is the last day you can gather points towards the seeding. So therefore we're seeing a lot of the big contenders, those at the top jostling for the points, are coming out. They're racing Sony. They don't usually race Sony, but today they understand the importance of the points that are on offer. So 7 weeks of racing, and on this Saturday we will have the finalized results. We have 3 zones on offer today. We start with zone E here now, then later on today we have zones K and L. It'll be fun to watch, and more importantly it will be a tough day of racing. This is the $25,000 prize purse tournament here in the CVRcade World Cup. They're racing all around the world. They've got their bikes hooked up to trainers, and as they pedal away, they've got to make decisions. They got to move left, they got to move right, they got to talk to their teammates and be in sync. And today is the last day you can gather points. So let's have a word with one of the team leaders. We do have Beth York here today in the racing. Beth, early morning for you, Velocity Vixen. Today it gets serious. Have you had a talk in amongst yourselves trying to figure out how to optimize the points today? Oh, I'm not sure we can hear Beth. Never mind, she's got some audio. She'll look into solving that. We'll go to Peter Kastrup instead, as he raced last Thursday. Zone K, he was up there, he was doing well. Zone L, he was suffering a tiny bit. Peter, today, same question for you. You've got Homer, you've got Ben out there. Can you feel the pressure when it comes to points today?
These things happen, and...
Oh, never mind. I think Peter's also chatting to his teammates. So everyone making the rounds. Welcome back to the always trusted Timothy Tamud, one of my favorite pre-race interviews. Timothy, are you chatting with your teammates as well, or do you have time to talk to me?
I got 10 seconds for you. What up?
10 seconds. We'll make it quick. Timothy, the points today, they mean more so than ever. Is that something that's getting massive to you guys?
No, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing. We're gonna get as much as our team at the top, so we're just gonna ride for each other, work together. I think a few guys are doing zones tonight as well, so we're just gonna give it everything today. A lot of points.
You've got Quinton and Tim in first and second, I believe, currently in the overall. Do you think that will stay come the end of Zone L today? Or do you think someone might be able to overcome it?
Yeah, I think maybe they switch positions, but I think they're going to stay 1 and 2. And then we're going to try and get Nils as much points as possible today, so he moves up a bit more, like top 5. So, yeah, it's going to be good.
I like it. Last but not least, Dark Matter Velo is on the event schedule today. How happy are you?
What?
How happy are you that Dark Matter Velo
I'm always happy for some Dark Matter Velo. Always good to see.
There, I think my 10 seconds are up. Thank you, Timothy. I'll let you get back to the squad. Racing also on broadcast today. We've got Ben Shuilong. If you listen to the podcast with him talking about his track building experience. If you haven't, I highly recommend heading over to YouTube CVRcade and giving that a listen. Tim Fulford is also in here today from Team Cycling Hub. He is ready to go here on this Saturday afternoon, I believe it is, very soon. We've got Niels Heldens in the Dutch national kit racing in as well. And you heard what Timothy Tamont said. Today is about getting him some points, moving him up the rankings. He's been getting better and better at the racing. He's won an Omnium, and I think today he's gonna want to try and get another one. We've also got fan favorite Sadeo Ikiba from Team Cognition broadcasting in today, rocking away. Well known for his Ikiba shuffle. He moves to the right, he moves to the left. Now, Moti Pikelny is in today as well, and I commend this man for getting up this early. I spoke to him last night. He's like, we'll see if I get up for Sony. I said, let's see you for Sony, and he called me a bully. But regardless, the man is here, and he is ready to rock and roll. Early in the US, Moti Pikelny understanding the importance of the points. 3 laps with Dark Matter Tech are coming up. You get 1 comeback kit, but there's also a wind up to play here. We saw wind first time ever added to this on Thursday with Electric Rush, and it changed up the dynamic. You heard some riders say that it's less forgiving. If you lose the draft, it's even tougher than normal to get back in, and that's why you see them all just clumped up in the middle like this as Ben is moving around. Now, Timothy Tamont, I don't know if you could hear it in the pre-race interview, sounds a bit clogged up, and maybe that bit of sickness, you really need to be on your A game with physical equalization, because you're equalized to the best your ability that you can do, so you need to come in fresh, you need to come in rested and ready to push yourself. So if you're feeling slightly under the weather, just 10% under what you can normally do, you will see significant changes towards your performance. But also, when you're sick, sometimes I find that you can push even harder because you just feel numb everywhere. We'll see which of the two it is for Timothy Tamont. Tim Fulford, he finds himself at the top of the cycle data rankings with his friend and teammate Quinton Molyneux. They've done very well. Tim in particular has come into the racing here, only raced 4 races until this week, and from down in like 12th place, 20th place, up onto 1st and 2nd. Very impressive as we now enter the last lap of racing. I think we'll look towards Sebastian Kuhn here. I think Sebastian Kuhn is a rider that you've got to be careful of. He says it's luck when he wins these no-skill events, but we've come to learn that Sebastian Kuhn, he understands the game of poker. You gotta play to your hand as we get ready further down. Niels Heldens has done well before as well in these no-skill events. What will he do? He seems to be the chosen one as a rider goes out the back. Homer Thompson, Moti Pikelny is ramping it up. Watch this. 400 meters remain here as I think he's trying to do a bit of an attack here, but nothing is coming through. Daniel LeBlanc on the front. 300 meters remain. Timothy Tamont gives it everything as he moves out of the draft. He's got Ben Shuilong, but nothing will stick. Peter Castro next up going. 100 meters remain. He's been caught on the line before. He chooses the inside line, and it's gonna be a 1-2 for Team CCC with Peter Castro taken first and Ben Shuilong coming over the line in second, and Sadeo Ikiba with a brilliant 3rd place as well. As you can see, that effort took a bit out of the CCC squad, but good start for the yellow jerseys in this one. Also, Sadeo Ikiba up in 3rd, timing his sprint to get onto the podium. But that was a very different no-skill event from what we've seen before. Everybody a bit just anxious to go. Timothy's the first one to launch. I think he's trying to help out his teammates, but he gets quickly caught as Peter spins that cadence up, comes on through. You can see him just rocking around on the saddle, choosing the inside lane wisely there as he comes on through. Now, we didn't get a chance to talk to Peter before the race, but Peter, now, Electric Rush on Thursday, you won the first one. The second one, you were pipped on the line. Here today, you win again. What's the secret? I mean, you and Sebastian, you just seem to dominate these events. What's the secret?
I guess the secret is no skills. So I have the best no skills of all riders, I think.
Ah,
That is funny, Peter. Peter, now,
yeah.
you see that race coming up. You and Ben get first and second, but the no-skill event is only a 1 multiplier. You've got this next race coming up, 3 laps tempo run. What are we looking from you guys here? Because the first race is 30 points. There's 60 points on offer here.
I don't know. First race is really easy, and you can't tell how you are feeling and how the legs are. But this one is the first test. I'm a bit out of breath now from that short sprint, but okay, we have 2 more minutes. It'll become clear very soon, I think, who's the strong one today on this course.
There's only one thing to do, Peter. That's to put on Heroes by David Bowie and then get ready to suffer.
Yeah, good tip.
Good luck, Peter. We'll see how Tempo Run goes. Nils, fellow Dutchman, different team. You heard Timothy say they're trying to bring you up the standings today. Saturday has been your day. Like, you've been really performing well on Saturdays. Will today be another one of those good days?
Hopefully. No, the course looked quite good today. So trying to make the best of it, as always. And hopefully that means a win. Yeah.
Now, Tempo Run coming up here. It's a longer course. Teamwork comes into play. You've got Timothy, you've got Tim with you. Are you on audio?
Yeah.
Are you discussing strategies?
Yeah, but I won't disclose what the strategies are, of course. Always helps to have a good team strategy on these longer races, especially on a course that is as technical and as undulating as this. So obviously we'll try to make the best of it.
I like that. I like the sounds of that. Thank you, Nils. I'll let you get back to it. We've got the full result as well as we can show you this, because this next race is usually a low skill event, meaning that you've got uncrashable as an ability. That is not the case today. Today in Tempo Run, as we've seen once or twice before, it is a high skill event. This is a dangerous course or track where you can get lulled into a false sense of security. Up here you've got the finalized results of the last stage. Now we get ready for the next one. I think everybody's eyes are going to be on MoTP Kelney here. What is he bringing to the table? Because Cognition, they don't usually race this Zone E. They don't usually have numbers. They've got Sebastian in here. Sadeo has been out with some illness, some technical issues. But today, they bring Sebastian Kuhn. They bring MoTP Kelney. They bring Sadeo Ikibe. And I think we've got fireworks coming up here next. But looking around, it is Cycling Hub that are currently up there trying to fight off the great start that came from Team CCC with with Peter Kastrup and Ben Schuilong in first and second. This race, you get 1 weightlifter, 1 racer's edge, 1 inertia, and you get that over 3 laps. Beth York also ready to rock, as you can see early in the morning over the US. She is riding all by her lonesome here, or actually she's got Jeff Rooney with Velocity Vixen as Timothy on the front there. I think Timothy just trying to break away, get some separation, and maybe get a teammate or two to join him at the front as Peter Kastrup early to get back on the wheel. Sebastian Kuhn, Sadeo Ikibe is in there as well. He was 3rd in the last race, and you can see him rocking left and right here as he's got to be careful. He's got to be on it here. He's got to find the right wheel to get on as the Cognition rider not quite linking up yet. We've also got Daniel LeBlanc here, so excuse me, Daniel. He's the kind of rider that slides under the radar. You don't quite notice him, he's there, until you're like, oh, of course Daniel is there as well. Always, like, that's a skill in itself to be a ninja. But we see Daniel, we see Sebastian, we see Moti. I think they're trying to ride in support of Sebastian. A few riders here today do have this as their preferred zone. Timothy Tumont, Niels Heldens, Thomas Tibbling, and Carl Axel Sander. And so, of those, only 2 were in the race. Niels Heldens and Timothy Tumont. So Cycling Hub starting with a 20-point advantage, and technically even more as Tim Fulford, Timothy Tumont, weightlifting gets used here. So this seems to be a strategized move. Team Cycling Hub with 3 power-ups at the same time. Niels just missing out at the back as they use inertia. They want to break away. This is an exciting move here. But Niels just lacking on the execution there a tiny bit. You could see there was some lack in the decision making. But now, oh, Timothy comes too hot into the corner. And when you execute like that, that is oh, that's gotta hurt. That is so heartbreaking because you were up there, but now you are out the back. But what you did see there was that Niels Heldens, as Tim is pushing out 208 equalized heart rate, either he is super fresh here or he's pushing himself to the limit like never before this early on. As it's like Tim has been on the platform for a very long time. To push over equalized heart rate maximum for him is quite fascinating to see. But when I don't know if you've got the replay of that attack from Team Cycling Hub, but if you look at the way in which they executed on it, Timothy and Tim, full committal. You see, there they go. But Niels is yet to use his weight lifted. It needs to be bam, 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 all at the same time. And that 2 seconds of indifference, that 2 seconds of waiting can cost you later on here, as all the inertias get used, but it didn't amount to much. Now, it sapped some of the legs, but that are the power-ups. That's weight lifted and inertia gone. And Peter Castro, Moti Pikelny, Beth York are still there. So great attempt from Cycling Hub, but with Timothy falling down, that's going to hurt their chances of staying away. So we've got Peter and Tim. On Thursday, they went head-to-head in the first zone. They really duked it out at the top. And today, we get a rematch. We get round 2 as Peter just bumping into Nils' back there. You can see the momentum. Boom. Every time you bump into the rider in front of you, you do slow down. But how does it unfold now? Moti's up here. Sebastian's further back, CVRcade further back, Ben Shui along has been dropped, and so it looks like Tim happy to continue the pacing, but he just looks around, not doing much. You've got, oh, Moti Pikelny goes down as he flies. He just changes into the lane of another rider trying to find his wheel, and that could be it for the Cognition riders. Beth York, I was just about to make this comment as well. This is not a low skill event. If you hit the rocks, you do fall down, and Beth finds that out the hard way. So 3 riders remain on the front. Tim takes it up, Peter and Niels Heldens. How this affects the scoreboard, you can see now with Peter has 82 points, Tim 68, and Niels 67. But Niels does get 20 bonus points for racing in today in his preferred zone, but he does lose out on some points by not having a matching kit in real life as Peter, Tim. Interesting there, Tim just trying to force a mistake out of Peter. Peter seeing it and breaking down significantly as Sebastian Kuhn goes falling down. Sebastian won Zone L on Thursday. Great display of power and just pure strength on Zone L, on Saturn in particular. But today, he's finding himself on the receiving end of the punishment that's being dished out. But we're seeing here with Peter, I'm not sure he knows all the corner speeds. He seems to be taking it rather nonchalantly through the corners, just slowing down, rather wanting to not crash, brake, and stay there. But Daniel LeBlanc is chasing back. The ninja is coming back. There's 187 equalized heart rate. Timothy Tumont as well. And this poses a question for Team Cycling Hub. Do you wait to bring back Timothy Tumont? We've seen this conundrum before with Velocity Vixen. They had a few riders up the front. Did they wait for Vibeke Bertram? Now, they didn't, and that in the long end meant they ended up losing that race. But Tim, Nils, if they end up waiting, Beth comes back, Ben comes back, Daniel comes back. And so is one extra teammate worth the trouble of getting 3 other competitors back in? As no, the ninja! Oh, there's no American Ninja Warrior there. He falls right into the water on the right, loses his grip, falls over the handlebars. And you can see coming into the corner, just too hard, not on the brake, 43 kilometers an hour, 45 kilometers an hour. It is way too quick to be going through that. So Cycling Hub have a 3-man advantage. Peter Kastrup at the back here is up against it. Can he take on the Armada that is Team Cycling Hub? You can see Timothy is pressing the spacebar. Timothy is bunny hopping on the back there. He is happy to be back in. The early crash not taking him out. Beth York had a crash earlier as well on the rocks, but she's fighting on through to get back on. I think she will get back on, but now you got to be careful. But I mean, if you're a Cycling Hub, you know you no longer have inertia. You know you no longer have weight lifted. So you cannot sit up. Like, you've got to get in line. You got to keep the pace high. Or you got to do something here as Tim just falls to the back of the group and wants to sit on here and get a free ride. As Daniel LeBlanc, I think he's loading up an inertia. That crash taking him out. He could taste the sweet smell of victory further up, but crashing. He doesn't. Oh, there he goes with inertia. 56. Maybe it could have been 58, but not that big of a difference. But will it run out? No, Daniel. This corner right here, you can crash if you come on too quick. He is fine. He catches Ben. Ben ups not. Oh, he gets him. Oh, Ben Shuilong with the whip. He says, get back in place as he shuts the door on the ninja, on Daniel LeBlanc. That was sneaky. But after one lap of Temple Run, it's all coming back together. So sorry for jumping all around on the camera, but there's so many things happening here. There's so many small plays at work. Because what do? Beth still has her inertia. Peter has inertia. Ben has inertia. If Moti comes back with Sebastian, which he's trying to do desperately, they've got their inertia still, and Cycling Hub are all out of them. So they somehow need to get a significant gap to nullify one of the strongest power-ups in the game. That will be a tough task. Now, this is just one race of many today. We do have 5 races in total here in Temple Run. Oh, sorry, we've got Temple Run second. We've got Dark Matter Vela next, Roman Arena, and then Dust Bowl Crit as they try and increase the pace. I think this is what Team Captain Tim Fulford is ordering. Here on these inclines, you've got to dish out the pain. You've got to ride these riders off your wheel. You've got to try and demoralize them. You got to hit them where it hurts most, their legs, their lungs. But that is a tough task when you have a hungry Beth York, a wanting to do more Peter Castro with Ben Shuilong and the ninja Daniel LeBlanc at the back. I think they're at risk here of Peter saying, I see your game, but I'm just going to go over the top here and do the suffering to you. And that's exactly what he's doing. A bold move here, straight out of the Sebastian Kuhn playbook, as Peter Castro, being followed by Niels Heldens, is going off into the distance. 480 equalized watts, 181 equalized heart rate. Let's see his fellow Dutchman who's chasing him down in the Dutch national kit. Who is the stronger Dutchman here? Who's going to bleed orange come the end of the day? Half of the racing remains here in Temple Run. But you can see Nils's face. Always calm, always composed. Always seems like he's in control. Looking around, 191 equalized heart rate. Nils has got the advantage of this being his preferred zone. But even with that buffer, it's only 3 points on Peter Kastrup here. And you got to remember as well that the streaming points, there is some lost points there, but Peter goes again. 707 equalized watts as it is blown apart. Beth York is off in pursuit, trying to catch, but she is being followed closely by Tim Fulford, Daniel LeBlanc. Timothy Tamont, Tim Fulford are further back, and what's also happening here is Moti Pikelny in support of his friend. You can see what he wants to try and bring Sebastian back. I think that they have their plan here. Sebastian Kuhn is their chosen one, and Moti is just going to hammer away. While everyone looks around, he knows that there's a lap and a half to go as we crest Temple Run Hill for the second time. If I can can bring back the blue collars of my teammate Sebastian as he moves one over. Let Sebastian come on through, and that could be it as Moti falls down. But I think that was all she wrote for Moti anyway, as Timothy sits on the back here of Ben Shuilong. He won't do any of the pacing. He's got 2 teammates up the road. He's happy just to sit in and rest up and get ready. He's got his sights on the next race. He really wants to win Dark Matter Velo. He understands, as the king of that course, there is some serious bragging rights on the line, and also perhaps a bit of embarrassment if you don't go on to win. As, ooh, he dodges Ben. Not sure if Ben was trying to block him, and then Ben goes down. Not sure if there was some inner camaraderie between the two of them trying to block Timothy. Timothy sees it like a pro, and then penalizes Ben Shuilong come the end. But Tim sits in now. He's got Niels Heldens in pursuit. And Tim is just going to sit at the back here. He doesn't want to offer a draft. Actually, he does attack here. So he's trying to bridge across. Trying to get across perhaps to Niels on the descent. So interesting strategy here. Slows down. He knows the corner speed. Oh, what he's doing here is applying the pressure. Not many know the exact corner speeds like Tim does in these courses. So when he goes on the attack, he knows the corner speeds, but he quizzes his competition. And he's like, I hope you brought a pencil number 2, because right now you're going to have a multiple choice quiz coming up on this descent. And if you fail, it is worse than getting an F. You will go down. As Beth York is looking, she's getting back on terms. But what this is doing is it's bringing the group closer to Niels Heldens. Peter is 8 seconds up the road. Niels doesn't look to be fully committing to this. He's looking around, and there's plenty of racing left. Peter won the first race. He's on to the second race, but Dark Matter Velo coming up next. High scoring multiplier in that one. Roman Arena and Dust Bowl Crit. Technical races coming up that require know-how, corner speeds, and teamwork, as Niels will soon be slugged up by the group behind, as Tim Fulford is leading the pace. So there could be a bit of panic going on in the Cycling Hub camp, because Peter 8 seconds up the road, they might just be happy to let him go. As Beth on the inside here, she's been riding well today. Can that translate further in? But she said, oh, Daniel goes down again. Oh, heartbreak for Team Cognition. They are where they need to be, but they just can't really execute on it when the time is there. So here we have the 2 different viewpoints. You got Peter Kastrup on the front in the yellow. He is riding on his own, and he's just doing his own pace. 8 seconds down, we have the chasing group with Niels Heldens, Beth York, Timothy Tamont, and Tim Fulford. You can see Tim just putting Beth up towards the barriers here, just not allowing her to get on through. So he's taking her out of the racing, allowing his Cycling Hub teammates to come on through. And now Peter on the front using inertia. Interesting point to use inertia here, but he needs it on the flat. So Tim trying to make Beth take the long way around, and he does succeed, but Beth is in there. She's feeling good today. She must have diamonds in her legs, and the gap up to Peter, 10 seconds. Can Cycling Hub get organized? Can they get together now and figure out how to beat this man on the front? Because Peter Castro, 490 equalized watts. He attacked in the previous course, in the previous lap, and what we saw was that he understood what he was coming up against. His biggest threat was getting boxed in, was getting blocked, was being forced into a mistake. And just like the rhythm courses, just like Sudden Lane Change, like Dark Matter Velo, all these rhythm courses, the easiest way to find your rhythm is to go off the front, be on your own, and eliminate all the variables. It's just you versus the rest. Comes down to, can you execute? And the way Peter is riding here, he is executing very nicely, as the gap is 12 seconds. But Cycling Hub, they're trying to get organized, and it looks like they finally are, except for Timothy Tamont straggling off the back there. So trying, he's fighting to get back in. 192 equalized heart rate. He knows Ben Shuilong is further back, but just missing out. There's no forgiveness. Tim saying, come on, Timothy, if you want to get on this train, you have to work up. As Timothy says, go on, I got it, I ain't got it. But he's still there. He's still getting on. He's got a chance if he can just muster on through. This is the final lap of racing here on Temple Run. Big points on offer, and Timothy continues to ride on through. Ben Shuilong is 1 second back. He's got his power-ups. Like, Ben is in a good position here. Beth is in a stellar position to take secondary points. They've got weight lifted. They've got Racer's Edge. They've got inertia. And those are power-ups that can really change things up here as Timothy Tamont loses the wheel of Ben and Daniel LeBlanc. Sebastian Kuhn coming back as Nils Tim just trying to look down. It is so tense in this group as Tim moves to the right here. Might just want to... I think his turn is over, but he's also making sure that Ben does not come through as Nils now takes a turn. At this point, I think this group knows they're not catching Peter Kastrup again. He is well off into the distance, but now you've got to take stock. You know who's got power-ups, you know who's got legs. Sebastian Kuhn is back in this group, and you cannot let him get off the front because he will never come back to this group. He's got legs of steel, he's also got willpower as Nils sits on the front, 378 equalized watts, just spinning away at his 100% capacity. He can do this for a bit, but Beth York, what will she do? Because it's an interesting course, it's an interesting track because you can feel great on the incline, but the majority of the gap is actually made on the descent as Nils stands up. Beth reacts to it, Tim and Sebastian and Ben further back. But on the descent, like, you can have the power-ups, but if you get pushed and you don't know the corner speeds, you will find yourself struggling. As Beth comes on through, Nils here says, I'm still here, you can make me suffer, but I'm still here. They're 192 and 194 equalized heart rate. Tim's at 194 as well. So it's a very, very fast and really tough ride here from this chasing group. As Beth on the back, she's struggling a tiny bit. Could this be it? She uses the Racer's Edge. Are we going to see the power? Racer's Edge from Beth on this incline as she sits in. She fights to get back on. Tim at 195. Will Beth continue this over the top? She's got 8 kilometers an hour on the Cycling Hub boys as she fights on through. Nils Heldens with Racer's Edge as Beth uses inertia at 46 kilometers an hour. She can catch her breath because she's at 197 equalized heart rate. But Nils Heldens also at 195. Tim at 195. All these racers are being pushed to the limit. Last time Beth crashed on this rock. This time around she's learned her lesson and she won't have that be the case. Tim off the back, he's going to have to fight because Sebastian Kuhn is knocking on the door and he wants to take points back. And Tim comes on through on the descent. He's got a 12 kilometer an hour difference here, but he knows the corner speed, so he slows on down. In the meanwhile, on the front, it is Peter Kastrup, unimpeded, on his own, just sailing away into the distance. He's definitely gone with the wind here, and we'll see if he can carry this momentum on in the next 3 tracks, because next up, Dark Matter Velo is not an easy course. It is not an easy course, especially in high pressure environment, and you can have the track of your life on Temple Run, but the next one, scoring multiplier 2.5, the name of the game is consistency, and will it be Peter's game today? As Tim finds his way onto the front, these secondary points are very vital. As Daniel LeBlanc goes down again. Oh, Canadian Ninja Warrior is not as good as American Ninja Warrior, maybe even Dutch Ninja Warrior at this point. Gotta love it, Daniel. Good racing, and he goes down once more. 1 kilometer remains for Peter. Tim is really pushing the pressure here. He wants to see if he can make Beth make a mistake, but they've come from 197 equalized heart rate down to 83 here. So they've recovered nicely, but they gotta go again as Beth gets away from Tim. Tim trying to force her into the rock, but she wisely cuts across the road, and she is now on the front. But this sprint, she is surrounded by the vultures as she hits Nils in the back. Tim slides on through. She's got the inside lane. Peter's got 500 meters to go. This group has got a kilometer as Beth fights on through. Best to fight your battles from the front. She's taking a page out of Alison Kubota's playbook here and just wants to get out of the way as Tim tries to force up another mistake, sitting on the outside of Beth. And she's been here before. She is now put up against the barriers, but she's actually in a favorable position. Not sure if you want to fight on through, but she does. She's got good legs to be able to do that. Come on through, and she fights for the secondary positions. On the front, 100 meters remain. Peter Kastrup, Champion Boulevard here. Tempo run is all his as we get ready. Beth crashes in the corner as Peter over the line, sorry. Beth goes down. Tim, what will he do here? Will he wait up for Nils? Crosses over the line, and he takes second. Nils third. And Beth gets passed by Sebastian Kuhn as well. What could have been? Oh, what a shame as she gets taken down. Ben Shuey along in sixth. Timothy after this. He will keep the Canadian Ninja Warrior at bay. Jeff Rooney, Sadio Ikiba, they're all fighting away. What a race. That took a lot out of people. Let's have a look at the end. So, as we see, we cut away here just to catch Peter come over the finish line. But Beth comes on through the corner, and she's got a good position. But I just think the corner perhaps gets the best of her as she comes on through. And instead of taking what could be a second place, she falls all the way down to 5 and misses out on quite a few points here in the Omnium. But Peter, just in another world, just on a world of his own, goes off the front and succeeds in taking the victory. Wipes the sweat off his face. Business as usual. And it's another edition of We Can Be Heroes by David Bowie. Congratulations, Peter. I mean, how? Like, you were up there, the numbers were against you, surrounded by 3 Cycling Hub riders. What made you decide to, you know what, I'm going to go off the front?
I didn't. I was just going into the lead and keeping the pace, I thought. But then I saw a gap between Niels and myself, and the group was a bit further behind, so I hesitated to wait for Niels or not. So I held back a little bit to give him a chance to come back, but it stayed at 3 seconds, 4 seconds. He didn't get any closer, so that's when I decided to just go on and see what happens. I still had my inertia, was it, I think?
Yes.
And the Cycling Hub guys used that really early in the race, and I caught them, so I knew I had inertia still to make a difference, but in the end it wasn't necessary, I think.
Dark matter velo, Peter. Now, this can nullify all the hard work in Tempo Run. How do you feel about this track?
Oh, I like the track. I just don't like to ride it. It's I don't know what it is. Sometimes I do well for 3 laps or so, and then I start messing things up and it gets worse from there. So I usually end up 10th or something.
Well, it's only 6 laps today, so less of a chance of messing it up. So hopefully you can extend that. Good luck, Peter. I want to get a word from Beth if the audio is working, because Beth, oh my goodness. Like, you were there, and then crashing in the end. What happened?
Yeah, I was gearing up for that sprint, and I know that Tim is really good at baiting on corners and speed, so I had been aware of it all the way through and had a near perfect race except for that early crash on the rocks where they sandwiched me, which was a really good move, and I was thinking about it, but I made my way back, and then that crash at the end, I was just gearing up for the sprint, and looked away for a minute wanting to go all in, and forgot myself in that corner speed, so he in the end successfully baited me on that speed on that corner.
But the legs look good today to be in that position. I mean, that was 197 equalized heart rate.
Yeah, and I heard you say at the beginning of the broadcast that sometimes when you're not feeling good, you dig a little deeper because you're already hurting, and that's definitely the case. So that was a fun race. I learned a lot. I really like that course with Uncrashable. I think there's a lot of opportunities to do, kind of those maneuvers where you can tease out the competitor's knowledge and concentration, right? Because at the end, that's what it came down to, was me just losing my concentration for that instant because I wanted to be all in on the sprint. So fun day.
Heartbreak, but Dark Maravello coming up. I'll let you concentrate and get ready for the sprint out of the gate. Now, the scoreboard on this has just broken, but I do have a scoreboard on a second machine. Peter's in the lead, Tim Fulford second, Nils third, and Sebastian further down. We get ready to go. This initial sprint is everything that matters on this course, and we see Tim out front. He opts for the outside lane, but goes with corner caper. So does Timothy. Everybody understanding the importance of the first corner, but you gotta be careful, because it may run out. But shout out to Timothy Tamont, Ben Shuilong, everybody here. That was executed to perfection. To see 6 riders all with the same idea and to see them fight on through, that was nail biting and could have ended up in tears for many of them. But the rider getting caught off guard once more on the execution bit here. Nils just using his corner caber after the rest of the riders on the front. So, and he goes down, losing up some points. Not happy. Moti further down. When you slam on the brakes too hard, you do slide out. But Moti in 5th. Very concentrated. Peter says he's good for about 3 laps on this course. Then it all starts falling apart. We've done 2, and we'll look towards the next one to perhaps be the demise of the Flying Dutchman, as he's gotta be careful, but the bots get out of the way. Moti, though, does not get lucky, and Peter is in the draft. Ben has been getting better and better at these high skill courses. We've seen him on Country Rally, avoiding the Bonnie the Bondor, but what about Dark Mattervella? Well, that gets close. You can see the intensity, but Timothy Tamont executing every lap, as he's got to be careful of Daniel LeBlanc here, the ninja. On the right hand side, he's definitely there. Timothy going, no you don't, as Daniel crashes on the inside. He's going to be a nuisance for somebody further back. If we go to Peter, Peter does, what? He goes right on through Daniel. I thought that could have been a block that takes Peter out, but no, it is not. But here comes the pressure situation. 4th lap. I think it actually might be the 5th lap coming up from Peter. Consistent so far. But meanwhile, on the front, Tim is still there. Nils crashes again. It is all falling apart. Tim chooses the outside lane here. Sadeo and Beth on the inside. He wisely avoids the carnage on the right. But Timothy Tamont putting on a clinic. I mean, this is how you race Dark Mattervelo. Sebastian goes down. He is just gaining time after time after time every lap, and now is the final lap. This puts Timothy up into 3rd. Give him 20 bonus points, and he's currently the provisional leader overall in the Omnium, coming in to a Roman arena. But no, there's a rider. There's Jeff. What about Tim? Tim is also there. This could all come up if Ben chooses the outside lane. And there's Nils too. But Ben is in the same lane. So the opportunity was there as Timothy chooses the outside lane here. There was an opportunity to overtake. But Timothy, Tim, Ben all choosing the same lane. And it negates the block by Beth, by Jeff, by Nils as they cross over the line, as Ben just wipes the sweat off his face. Peter happy with that one. Sebastian had saved his corner caber until this point. What could have been for the German, we'll never know, as he may have used it earlier on. But Niels Hildens here, losing out on a significant amount of points. He can make it up in the next 2 races, but that could come back to haunt him as he falls from 3rd all the way down to 6th. He does have his bonus points, but as you've just seen, a race like that can change everything. As CVRcade is rocking away, he's still fighting out on Dark Mattervelo. Great racing from Sadeo, great racing all around, but he's definitely feeling the lactic acid starting to build up. Let's see the very chaotic finish once more, as there's Timothy. He sees Jeff. He goes, oh no, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. But then you see Tim further back down, also in the same lane, who also gets hit by Nils Heldens. But there is also Ben in the same lane and Peter in the same lane. So everybody just trying to optimize their track choices and not seeing that up further the road there's congestion, not seeing the speed going down, that it's very difficult to see, but at the end of the day, executing is the name of the game, and going up until third on the scoreboard is Timothy Tamont. Timothy, the Dark Matter Velo King, reigns supreme once more. Congratulations. Was there a moment there where your heart was up in your throat towards the last lap?
Yeah, kinda, because I didn't see Jeff up the road. I think he was out of sight, but was going like way under the max speed, so he was moving very fast. So I couldn't do anything about that. But I'm sure it wasn't on purpose. But yeah, still got it though.
There's no way you can do that. Well, there is a way, but there's no way when you're just focusing on your own racing. We saw Nils come down the rankings for Cycling Hub, and you come up. Does that change the dynamic going into the last two races?
No, it means we just get more podium spots. 'Cause I was off the podium, but now we're back.
I like it. Well, congratulations, Timothy. Good racing in that last one. If we got Ben as well in the broadcast from CCC. Ben, I mean, what is with you and third place finishes and high skill events? What do you just like the bronze medal?
Oh, come on, give me a break. This is like my best ever finish on that course.
I'll give you a break. I'll
Sorry?
give you a break because you did do well as a team on the first one. Peter and you both not crashing. I remember you being very proud on Thursday for not crashing on the two Omniums.
Yeah.
Continuing it here, but I think the question still remains. When are we going to see Ben at the top on a high scale event? That's what everyone wants to see.
Hopefully in the final, in the grand finale.
That would be a good time to pull out all the stops, Ben.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been a hard 3 races, 2 races coming up here. Where's the mind at? You sit fourth.
I don't know, I forgot about this one, and I thought, ooh, this is going to hurt. So, you know, I think that we've got a lot of power-ups, so I think, you know, good, wise usage of the power-ups could be quite critical here, especially over 2 laps. So, stay with the front, I hope, make the most of the power-ups, and go for the win.
Words of wisdom from Ben Schuerling, everybody. Thank you, Ben. 35 seconds remain as we get ready. It's been good racing so far. We're over halfway through now, but 2 races remain. Roman Arena. This is the low skill event. Uncrashable is on at all times, and it's only 2 laps. Look for somebody to blow it up out of the gate. Weight lifted, wind at your back, path of least resistance, the whole shebang. I think somebody will try and shake things up early here. Peter Castro still leads the racing. A better than average Dark Matter Velo from Peter Castro in the last one, as Moti Bikelny does light it up. Path of least resistance at the back here, but just sitting in, resting up the legs. Beth York as well, crashing early on. She doesn't have to worry about crashing in this one as path of least resistance gets used. But the ninja, Daniel LeBlanc, or the ninja, or however you say it with a French-Canadian accent, goes off the front with Sebastian Kuhn, the two trying to break away. And I'm sure right now, with the headset on, with the audio, Moti's going, come on, boys, let's do this. Execute, order, whatever, as Daniel LeBlanc and Sebastian Kuhn find themselves near the front. Tim Fulford, with wind at his back, is flying on through here. The momentum he's gathered, he wants to try and just demoralize the rest from getting onto his wheel. He saw what Peter Castro did in Temple Run, and he won't let the same thing happen again to him in this race. So path of least resistance, wind at the back is gone, and it leaves 1 weight lifted. Timothy Tamont, Niels Helden, so far they're on the receiving end of their captains dishing out of the pain. So Timothy saying that, oh, we're just going to get more riders on the podium. But right now, him and Niels are both off the podium as Tim has taken the top spot. He finds himself with Moti Bikelny, but the win in the last one just as well can be quickly nullified in this one, as Moti just slowing Timothy down, not wanting to let him get back up to the front. The Dutch rider of the day, perhaps, in Niels Heldens. He's feeling a bit of the pressure now. He's down in 6, a less optimal Dark Matter Velo performance. Well, his captain right now is on the front dishing out the pain. So there will be some words in the chat afterwards from this as we watch Tim Fulford on the front with Peter Castro chasing it further down Ben Shuilong. So right now, your scoreboard in the stream doesn't quite work, but I do have a backup scoreboard here with Tim at the top leading by 9 points down to Peter, but Peter has got Ben Shuilong here. These two today have been on the same page. They've been in sync. And now we watch them sing as they try and get back up to Sebastian Kuhn and Tim Fulford. 2 fast laps here on Roman Arena before it all gets decided on Dust Bowl Crit. No wind here today, and now Ben and Peter have got to try and do something. I'm not sure how long Peter can rest and stay on Ben's wheel, because I think if Peter wants to win this, he needs to take it up himself. Having teammates is great, but when you are perhaps the stronger one when it comes to pushing yourself on physical equalization, I think Peter may need to go to the left before the front group gets too far away, because you can see Tim's on the hill, Sebastian's further up, and Ben moves over to the right. This is it for Peter. He spins up the cadence. He gets ready. All the clothes have been brought in. The tablet's been put up. The setting has been put on. And now it's time to rumble as Peter Castro goes over the top. And the gap is 3 seconds up to Tim here. He can see them as we go on to the action board front-facing camera. Tim looking over, not wanting to let him back. He's at 195 equalized heart rate. Tim is really up there today. He must be feeling quite fresh on his side as 194 is not usually what we see Tim Fulford on the heart rate scale, but Peter Castro is coming back, but it could be at the demise of his own teammate as Ben Shuilong was there. He was working, and as Peter went to the left, Ben got caught in the wake of that attack, and now he looks backwards with one more lap remaining here. This is going to be tough. You've got to make a decision. Do you attack? Do you continue fighting your way, which is probably the right choice? Or do you sit up and wait? Now, I think Ben is going to just say, you know what? I'm going to ride my tempo. If the riders behind me come back, we'll readjust and realliterate. Because the threat is, if they come back, they might just go over the top. We will see. But Peter Castro has come back to the front group. He's bridged the gap. And with one lap remaining, I think he's still got all his power-ups. I think he's still got wind at his back, weight lifted, and path of least resistance. You can see Peter rocking away, moving over to the right here. So does Tim. But these are 3 of the strongest racers in the CVRcade World Cup community. In the pilot episode of the podcast, you had Victor Lundqvist picking Tim Fulford as his champion. I was with Sebastian Kuhn, and then you had Beth picking Casey Shum as their winner to be of the CVRcade World Cup. Well, we're seeing that exact scenario panning out now with 2 of the chosen champions duking it out on the front. Hands down to cognition. Sebastian Kuhn came into the racing. He was down here. He was not really himself, but Moti Bikelny had just brought him up to a top spot, and we're seeing now what he can do. But Tim Fulford, 193, is breaking away, and before their eyes, this could be the game-winning move. It could be the Omnium-winning move. Tim has 5 points on Peter, and that changes down to 1.5 depending on how this finishes. But he does not want to bring it to a sprint. He wants to time trial away. I think he is a bit nervous here at the sprint possibilities, because Peter does have that equalized, like he's got that ability to go high in the equalized watts. Tim may not having that ability to go so high. So what he does is that he sits in and understands, I'm going to have to ride him off my wheel. I cannot bring it to the sprint, and 195 equalized heart rate. This man is definitely in the hurt locker now. 1 ticket for Tim Fulford, and there doesn't seem to be a return on it as he's straight into that zone. But Peter Castro, 900 equalized watts. He wants to get back on terms. We saw him on Thursday in Zone L start to suffer. We saw him start to crack, and this today could be the same. But he comes around, he brings Sebastian Kuhn and the 3 amigos all back together again. And with 1.7 kilometers to go, are you ready to see fireworks. This could be anyone's game. I'm not sure who's going to take this, but the advantage is with Peter as he's still got his power-ups left. As Tim on the front continues the pace and continues the suffering here as he's fighting on through. As he does not want to let them get back on. Ben Shuilong is not too far back. Ben has been fighting on through, and with wind at his back, he is within reach of the front three. He has potential here to come right on through, but he's going to dig in. He's going to need this momentum and go right over the top. He cannot sit in because the hill is coming up. 194. Niels can come back. Quantum Shift is getting put down by Ben Shuilong, but here we go. We're seeing the attacks now here on the hill. We get Peter Kastrup on the left, Tim on the right as the power-up goes away. Sorry about that. That is my fault. But Peter Kastrup on the hill. He's being distanced by Tim and Sebastian. They have a common enemy here in Peter Kastrup. He's currently up there on the scoreboard. And Sebastian and Tim wants to fight it through. And this could be a sign of things to come. Dust Bowl Crit is up after this, and Peter is starting to show signs of weakness, and this is what Tim is after. Tim is at 198 equalized heart rate. He is pushing it. Peter being distanced 2 seconds back, but never counted over. Coming through the Coliseum now, but if he's still got a sprint on him, now is the time to deploy it. Oh my goodness, guys, this is going to be a thrilling finale now as Peter is fighting on through. Tim's comes on through 200 equalized heart rate as he pushes it now. He's got nothing left versus Sebastian. Here is the sprint for Roman Arena. Who will it be? Cognition, Team Cycling Hub, Tim, Sebastian. They're both pushing it. Tim uses Quantum Shift. He's in the draft. He pushes everything he's got. 50 meters remains and it will be yours truly, Tim Fulford, taking the win ahead of Sebastian Kuhn as Peter Kastrup completely blown up on that one as he will cross the line next. Ben Shuilong, I tip my hat. Fantastic work ethic, fantastic ability to suffer. Niels Heldens next, nothing left. Timothy Tamont, congratulations. He's just enjoying his ride. Daniel LeBlanc, the ninja from Team Cognition, crossing the line. Then Beth York and Homer Thompson with Sadio Ikebe, Moti Pikelny, Jeff Rooney further back. Let's have a look at that sprint one more time. Whew, everybody. Are you nervous? Can you feel the nerves? Can you feel the intensity now that this is the last day before the tournament starts next week? Can you feel last day of seeding? You got Tim, you got Sebastian. I think Sebastian using his power up there, Quantum Shift, maybe a bit early, and then Tim just kept his cool, understanding that I've got the draft. I'm getting 30, 35%, 40, 50, 60, bam, and the momentum difference is 6 kilometers an hour in Tim's favor. That looked like a tough one. Tim, congratulations. Hard-fought victory. You tried to break away, they came back. You tried to break away again, they came back. And then you come to a sprint. What went through your mind?
It's quite a short race. It's only 2 laps, 6K. So I thought if you put everyone on the back foot, make them think about it. So I used my most powerful power-ups at the start. Peter's technique allows him to get back there, so he came back with Seb and Ben, and then I didn't know who had what at the end, so just push everything up the hill, see if I can keep in Seb's draft, and then I knew if he came through me as a quantum shift, then I would get a lot of draft to stay up with him, even if he did a big sprint. And then when his run out, I pop mine. I still get the draft, but I can just move straight through him, which is what I did.
Now, you did see the first signs of weakness from Peter. Is that something that gives you more motivation here in Dust Bowl Crit?
No, not really. I mean, he should be getting equalised. What he did on Temple Run was epic, so I wouldn't be surprised if physical equalisation's knocking on his door, because to swan away from us like that, super impressive. So yeah, I mean, I felt equalised in that Temple Run. I couldn't just do anything, but then I had a heart rate of 198, so that's probably why. But yeah, it's going to be fun.
It is awesome to see you up near the 200s. We saw you hit 200 in the last race. It'll be interesting to see what this one can bring. Good luck, Tim. Peter, that last race, heartbreak. You were there and then you got distance. What happened?
I just couldn't go faster. So I got there, I got back, I think twice even. And then Tim, yeah, he just went faster again. And I was thinking, oh no, not again. And then there they went. So very well done by them. I think Tim won, not sure. So
Yes.
yeah, good one.
Peter, it's been a good day for you in regards to keeping the crashes to a minimum. Now the last race, Dust Bowl Crit comes up. One crash can change everything. Will you keep the rubber side down?
I hope so. You never know. So don't jinx it. So far I haven't crashed, I think, not once even. So yeah, good day so far, but still one race to go.
I apologize if any jinxing has been happening, but I am not held liable for any jinxing here. Good luck, Peter. Good luck, Tim. We'll let the rest get ready to go. As I'd love to bring down the scoreboard, but unfortunately the scoreboard on the game has worked. But the other one, Tim is leading 193, Peter 188.5, Sebastian 160.5, leads by 1 point over Ben, Timothy Tamont further down, 1.5 points behind. Then you've got Nils, you've got Beth, you've got Moti. It is incredibly close. And for that last time in Zone E, for the last time in Zone E in the CVRcade bracketed session, let's get ready to rumble as we find out who's going to take that victory near the top as the racers get out of the gate quick. We do see a power-up drop from Moti P. Kilney at the back, but Tim slots in. 2 scoring multiplier here. Whoever finishes ahead of Peter and Tim will most likely take the Omnium here today. But those with preferred zones, Timothy and Nils Heldens, they will want to move up the rankings here. They still have a potential of taking that second place, but they need to fight on through. As we see the first pressure point safely on through. But the wind is 11 kilometers an hour. I did not see this in the warm-up, but 11 kilometers an hour. Sebastian goes down. Third in the podium, and Timothy fights on through. But what about our Flying Dutchman? Usually when the wind flies high, so does he. He comes over the top, and the 2 riders are fighting at the front here between Peter and Tim Fulford. He hasn't crashed all day so far. Now, I want to keep this a jinx-free zone, but can he continue that trend as on the wheel they come on through? This is a straight headwind, this section, as Daniel LeBlanc once more loses his grip and falls down. But this turns from a straight headwind to a straight tailwind. So you'll see the pace being picked up now as Tim accelerating onto the climb here, wanting to get away. In this race, though, there is a very special power-up. There's a comeback kit. A comeback kit on Dust Bowl Crit. That is a power-up that has to be used with finesse. Because if you use it at the wrong time, you will come into a corner too quickly. As I'm not sure what's happening here with Timothy and Peter. I think Timothy is going to fight up there. But Peter has got to be a bit antsy, and he makes him crash! Timothy Tamont makes the mistake, forces the mistake out of Peter Castro. And let's bring that up on the replay, because this is exactly what I was talking about. Peter seeing Timothy on his left, getting antsy, thinking, oh no, oh no, oh no. And Timothy Termont with the knockout blow on Peter Castro, down for the count. But will he get back up in time? Go 1, we go 2, we go 3. He's still got a chance. But what this does do, it puts Timothy Termont in second place provisionally, forcing the mistake. But can he commit? Can he execute now? Because you're in a winning position. You've got 1 and 2 on the scoreboard. Tim no longer really in threat unless Peter can make a miraculous comeback here as path of least resistance gets used. But Timothy is in a position he's not too used to here. He needs to continue the pressure and ride flawlessly. 1 of 4 laps is coming to the end. Ben Shuilong with a comeback kit. This is the place to use it, but he's fighting on through. You gotta be careful. Niels Heldens with his 45 seconds with 367 equalized watts more, or until you catch the rider ahead of you. But now Ben has to slow down, and so it is the place to use it, but it's tough. So Ben looks like he will get back on terms as he's going about 10 kilometers an hour quicker than the front. Oh, Ben! Oh, getting caught. You can see his face. Hasn't made a mistake all day. This puts Cycling Hub up there. What about Niels? Niels with an extra 20 points would move up a significant amount of spots, and I think he would just fall in 4th. So it wouldn't be enough to catch 3rd spot, but he's going to ride on through. But that does give hope for someone like Peter Castro, because what we just saw there from Ben was that the comeback kit does work. He closed down a 12-second gap on the straightaway, and if you're Ben, you start saying, come on Peter, you can do this, use the comeback kit at the right time. As Timothy, the pressure, it gets to him, and he falls down in the chicane, and from 2nd further down. But what about Peter? Peter, oh, he gets blocked! Down to 7 kilometers an hour. Not happy about that one. I do not speak Dutch. I do not read lips. But I could tell in his facial expression that wasn't good. Timothy Tamont has been the MVP here for Cycling Hub on this race. They have a rider focusing on his own race in the front. They got Timothy Tamont on purpose the first time. The second time, it was a bit of accidental or taking advantage of the opportunity. Now, this is another place you could use your comeback kit, as Peter feels a bit of suffering as Ben Shuilong comes on through. Peter moves over the top. But 11 kilometers an hour ain't easy. As Sebastian Kuhn with his comeback kit, with his inertia, moves on through. And that puts him back into 3rd spot, but Timothy does get a few points and moves on up. So with this array of power-ups, who honestly knows, as Niels crashes too. Oh, trying to move on over. But is he going to catch anyone here? This is where you could get caught. Nope, everyone slides on through. Timothy, Peter, and Beth. This is like musical chairs. Like every time you stop the music, another rider goes down. And that music seems to be only 20 seconds long every time. Tim continues his flawless ride on the front. He's got that first place truly well and nicely locked up. But a comeback kit can change everything. A comeback kit with an inertia. If you have that if you got that secret strategy, now is the time to use it. As you've got Peter. Oh, Peter goes down again in the corner. And once more, it was forced by the Cycling Hub boys. Niels, Timothy, doing excellent work for their team captain on the front. Peter Castro with a comeback kit here. Now, can he utilize this? This was not the situation he probably saw himself coming into, but he is fighting to get back on terms. And we'll stay with him here for a bit because he's coming up to a danger point. This right-hand turn is rather tight and you could crash. You could go too quickly into it. You see him slow down 40 kilometers an hour. Then he's got to accelerate again. It's a tough spot here with the 11 kilometers an hour wind. We move to the front. Moti P. Kilney is up here with Sebastian Kuhn. And he's been rather quiet today in Zone E, but I'm sure we'll see more of him later on tonight in Zone K and L. But great teamwork he is. A Sadewi Kibe as well. Speaking of Cognition riders using their comeback kits, he is rocking left and right, and he wants to leave this race with a nice result. He currently sits 9th on the scoreboard, and he's trying to use his comeback kit to move up the rankings. But this puts Moti, and then Moti goes down. Oh, I was just about to say, it puts Moti in a good position, but then he takes a tumble. Sebastian Kuhn is only 9 seconds down from Tim, and Tim is fighting on through. He uses his inertia at the front. Still got comeback kit, but no way to use it as there's no rider in front of him. So double-edged sword to be out in front at this point. So Tim, 192 equalized heart rate. We've seen it jump around a lot today, but taking even more point. Not only, oh, Ben once more also goes down. He goes down on this spot as he will make amends for that. Timothy Tamont back into third spot and back onto second overall as well. So the crash, not too imminent, not too bad just yet, but he needs to keep Peter, he needs to keep Sebastian further back because currently he's in second by 3.5 points. If Peter moves one spot up, if he overtakes Moti, overtakes Beth, he falls out of the podium. But let's take a moment and appreciate the effort being put down by Tim today. It's not often you see him at 200 equalized heart rate. And with 1 lap remaining, Victor Lundqvist, chosen champion of the CVRcade World Cup, looks to be set for another Omnium victory, but also solidifying his lead at the top of the cycle data rankings here in the CVRcade World Cup. So more points comes his way as we race on Dust Bowl Crit. Right now, I'm probably thinking that Ben would have been thinking, what if I made this course just a tiny bit less technical? I would have stayed on my wheels. I wouldn't have crashed. As Moti goes down, Beth uses her power up. Niels gets more points, but he sits 6th overall. Give him some more points and moving on up, he will move up ahead of Ben Shuey Long most likely, as he has got nothing left. He may have thought that was the final lap. I'm not sure what's happening, so he's sitting back. I think he may have thought that was the final lap, but there is still another lap remaining. We saw it happen to Sebastian Kuhn before, so it does happen to the best. But speaking of the best, Beth York fighting to get back onto Timothy. If Beth catches Timothy, he's also at risk of losing that spot further up. But last kilometers coming up, Timothy Tamont crashed last time here in the chicane. You can see him rocking left and right. He's got hair like a Super Saiyan from Dragon Ball Z, but he's also been riding like one today here. And now he's got to finish the last half a lap here on Dust Bowl Crit to secure the 1-2 for Team Cycling Hub. It's been hard racing, it's been good racing, but you can feel the nerves, you can feel the fact that they know this is their last chance to make a dent on the points rankings, as Timothy breaks a significant amount this time. He does not want Beth to catch back up, because I believe if Beth catches back up, he loses 4 points. He would still actually, if Beth catches back up, Timothy would still take second spot, but only by 0.5 of a point. But 1,500 equalized watts. Timothy has got to be careful here. You can crash on this incline. I have seen it before. But Beth and Timothy here, they're going toe-to-toe. Beth is not giving up. She wants to be on the podium of this race. She's grinding on the hill. She's at 41 k's an hour here, but she's fighting on through. Timothy has got to be careful once more, but he's got a chance to catch up here to Sebastian Kuhn. 5 seconds is the difference. He wants not only third place on the stage, he wants second place as he comes on through. 4 seconds is the gap, but Sebastian Kuhn is just up the head. It can be difficult, but the speed differential is 5 kilometers an hour. Last 200 meters remain. Tim has got the left-hand turn, then he's got the final straight, and that will be all she wrote here for Zone E today. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to click that follow button down below. We're live in 5 hours from now with more awesome racing like this for Zone K and Zone L. But Tim Fulford taking the win in this stage, but also taking the overall victory. Great racing as well from Sebastian Kuhn. Really awesome to see him getting back up. And Beth goes down again. Can you believe it? Oh, so heartbreaking. Timothy Tamont with his trademarked applause as you see Beth York. Last corner once more. It's a day of what could have been for the Velocity Vixen rider. Tempo run, fantastic racing here, good racing. She goes down. Niels, despite thinking that the last lap was possibly the last lap, he's actually done well here to come over the line next ahead of Ben Shuey Long. Moti P. Kelney, who I saw had about 1,000 crashes on this course, and now Ben can enjoy thinking, I placed a rock there, I placed a tree there, I placed a start finish here, and you can see, so that looks like a tough set of events. Peter goes down one more time as Moti P. Kelney of Cognition can be proud of the team's effort today. Sadeo, Daniel, Sebastian, Sebastian, all the rest have done well. But Peter Kastrup is human after all. Fantastic effort on Temple Run, but that comes back to bite as we enter Roman Arena Dust Bowl Crit. Let's see the instant replay of Tim crossing over the line for the last time here. So, really interesting racing all around, as you saw. I mean, the pressure that was being put on, you saw the moves being made. The 11-kilometer-an-hour wind is no joke as it changes direction. You have a crosswind, you've got to position yourself, you get a tailwind, you got to think about the corner speeds. And Tim with Zone E victory here today, winning the last 2 stages and winning by a significant gap coming the end of it all. But congratulations, Tim, taking the win here towards the end. What about your teammates here? Because not only once, but twice did you see Timothy causing the first crash. Then he made Peter slow down. Then Nils caused the third crash. How much did that help?
Yeah, we weren't in communication, but I guess there's an understanding of within cycling of where to place yourself if your friend is up the road and you're next to an opponent. As long as there's no foul play and you just hold that position, then I think that's fair enough. But yeah, no, we were going to meet for Niels, but unfortunately, Temple Run, I couldn't slam the brakes on hard enough, and then he had a bit of a mare in Dark Matter Velo, so in the end I thought I'd try and mop up as many points off other people as possible. Yeah, that's tough, as you say, with that wind constantly changing. There was actually probably only 2 small areas in that whole course where you had a tailwind, just before the first climb and just after the second. So yeah, proper tough.
Now, you're currently leading the cycle data rankings. Does this mean you'll take a rest tonight? Are you going to come back? What's the strategy here in points gathering?
I don't know. I'll have a think about it. My knee isn't fully recovered from Thursday, but oh, we had a comeback kit. Forgot about that. Yeah, so we'll see. I'll go and feed now and do some stretching and see, talk to the boys, see who else is racing, see if we can help someone else. But yeah, that's 5 tough races. This week's been tough.
Enjoy. Yeah, this week has been extremely tough, and the points do reflect that as everyone has changed to the rankings. Enjoy your post-victory celebration here. Peter Kastrup, oh my goodness, my friend. What a tale of 2 parts. The first 2-3 races you could do no wrong. But Roman Arena Dust Bowl Crit, what happened?
Roman Arena wasn't that bad. I think I was 3rd. But this last one was terrible. Timothy was, yeah, he was in my way all the time, I think. But it's okay. Well, it's not okay. I don't like it, but yeah, he did. And I think Niels. And at a certain point, I thought, okay, I'll give it one more try to get to Tim. I was getting momentum, and then Motti blocked me. And then I had enough. I just quit. I ride for fun, and it wasn't fun anymore, so maybe next time.
I hear you, Peter, but it's the name of the game. It does allow it, and it comes around, goes around at the end of the day. But it was good to see you race, Peter. I wish you good rest after this, and with next week's tournament coming up, we'll see how it all unfolds. Finishing out the podium today, Timothy Termont being a bit of a nuisance in the last stage. Timothy, seeing the racing today, seeing you move on up, getting those points, and finally getting onto the podium, how much does that mean to you?
I think I'm 4th, or don't Sebastian and Peter have the preferred zone? I don't know.
I have here in my notes that it's just you and Nils from this racing, but that may be wrong, so keep an eye on cycle data, but I do believe Zone E is only you and Nils in this lot.
Oh, then we got 1 and 2, me and Tim. Oh, that's good. That's nice. Yeah, it was some really tough racing. Oh, Temple Run, I screwed up so hard with that inertia. Too held in the corner on the incline. I didn't think about it. And I was just suffering from there out. We had a bit of a rest on Dark Matter Velo, so that was good. Just full-on sprint first corner, and then everything was under control. And this last one, oh, that hurt. Me and Peter, it wasn't meant for me to make him like quit the race, because that's never a good thing, but I saw Tim up the road, so I was like, okay, let's just keep it here. I didn't really block Peter, just kept on the outside, and that block wasn't intentional on the downhill corner after I crashed, but yeah, it happens. Sorry, Peter.
We can all come to midfield and shake hands afterwards. So, Timothy,
Yeah,
congratulations
we'll
on
beer.
getting on the podium. Hopefully, we'll see more of you later on. So K and so L happens. But let's have a look at all the replays today. We started with the first of 5 races on Dark Matter Tech. It's interesting to see as the racing is really coming to the pointy end now. These racers have committed time of their life. They've come home from work and they've been like, honey, we can't have dinner at 7 o'clock. I've got to get on my bike. I've got to get ready. And she's like, why? And she's like, I'm racing. I could win $3,000 this weekend. I could win $5,000 in the grand finale. I mean, there's $25,000 in the entire prize purse. And she goes, okay, I'll heat something up after you. And that's what we're seeing now, is that on a Saturday afternoon, these racers are like, right, you know what? I need the points. This is my last chance ahead of next week. I gotta fine-tune my skills. I've gotta fine-tune my knowledge of the courses while gathering points. This last week has been the biggest score multiplier on Tuesday, on Thursday, and on Saturday, and we've seen major changes happen due to that on the cycle data rankings. It's been amazing to see, and I cannot wait to see what next week brings. Now, the information will be live before next week, of course, and then it'll be interesting to see how the racing develops, because we've seen it in the bracketed session, we've seen it in the open session, but the tournament next week is totally different. It's all fun and fair when you're playing for make-believe points, but when you're racing for that cash and you can see every race you get closer to it, tempers will flare, stories will be made, and every crash will be more and more bitter. But good racing all around. Some races today had really good legs. Beth today, I think she underperformed points-wise, because what she had out there, I think there was much more. In the end, she finishes on the on 7th place, but I think there was a chance for top 5, top 4 if you just take out a crash or two. Peter, Temple Run, fantastic. I think Tim called it an epic ride on Temple Run, just right away. And then we saw this execution. This is the level of gameplay we're currently at. Corner caper, everybody on the same page, as Niels Heldens just goes too quick and goes down. Dark Matter Velo making it back into the rotation, and that means the Dark Matter Velo King reigns supreme once more at the top. All hail the King, as Timothy Tamont shows how it's done on Dark Matter Velo. Teams were out on display today. You saw Cognition having 4 riders, Cycling Hub with 3, Team CCC with 3 as well, and Velocity Vixen with 2. So the riders, the teams, they understand that in order to be competitive, you do need teammates out there, especially on a course like Dust Bowl Crit. You've got to protect yourself from the wind. On a course like Temple Run, you've got to be able to react to move or slam on the brakes, as we watch Timothy Tamot celebrate a well-earned victory on Dark Matter Velo. But Roman Arena, the second half of the racing tonight, really changed things up, as it was Peter Kastrup until this point looked undefeatable. He looked unbeaten. He looked like he was going to run away with it. But then Tim Fulford, Sebastian Kuhn, riding like a negative split today in terms of their power consumption. They chose to race harder further in and save some energy early on, and it paid off. I mean, Sebastian, Tim, Peter, it was all very close at the top. And what this says is that next week, with physical equalization, it's going to be more tense than ever. But this sprint, power-up usage came down to it in the end. Sebastian using Quantum Shift, maybe prematurely. Tim sitting back, understanding he can get the draft. And then he comes around with his Quantum Shift and gets the slingshot effect to go on to win the penultimate stage of the day. But the time came for Dust Bowl Crit. 11 kilometers an hour wind, which at the most times were either a crosswind or a straight on headwind, and this was probably the move of the day. Timothy Tamont forcing a mistake out of Peter Castro, and that sealed the top 3. Not only Tim Fulford getting first, but Timothy, pending of course official results, looking to be second place. Ben Schuler, another great day of racing for him as well, and so fun for the rest. So thank you so much to all the racers for taking part in the racing today. Thank you so much for all of you live on Mixer watching in time and time again. We couldn't do it without you. Thanks for being in the chat. Thanks for having your fan favorites, and thank you for following us over on Facebook. We've just hit over 2,000 followers on Facebook, and if you're not already following us there, head over to CVRcade on Facebook. You get all the highlights, all the announcements, and all the how-to tutorials and extra content that does go live regarding the CVRcade World Cup and the CVRcade platform. Of course, CVRcade is free to play, so if you want to try it out, head to CVRcade.com, download it now, and race with us later tonight. Zone K and Zone L start 5 hours from now. We will see you then for more racing. Until then, see ya. But no, Beth, your goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she's unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marvels. Kayla versus Allison, and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory.